definitely not perfect, but worth a try. As long as it's a little, like a frame or so slowish, it's better than.
What are your thoughts?
It's not terrible. It's obviously there's probably like a frame or so lag right now, but it's because it's consistent at least. It's manageable.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's fine. It's not ideal, but like whatever. North Carolina's kind of far, so.
Yeah.
Let me just grab something and then. So while I'm getting the water bottle, because the cat is being kind of needy right now, what are you looking to work on exactly?
Kind of like different methods for dealing with different kind of play styles. I think I have some character matchup issues, but I feel like sometimes fundamentally I lose to a certain type of player a lot. A lot of very defensive based players and the hyper kind of defensive players. I've had a hard time figuring out, having enough time to figure out how to get openings and stuff like that. Bad matchups, I don't know, from the normal Marth stuff, like Sheik is pretty miserable. I feel like I lose to way too many Sheiks that are on the same level, same as Falco's.
Okay.
Matchups, yeah, it just depends. I can lose to a Pichu main if their fundamentals are better than me. If they can pull off being that defensive against me, and if I can't figure out how to adapt to it.
I mean, that's kind of Marth in general.
Right.
He doesn't have a cheat button like the way that Sheik and Falco do, or like Captain Falcon.
You gotta be actually good at your character to win. You don't just have a up throw up air like with Fox, you know? You've got to really have finesse, it seems like.
Well, it's just you can't like not know certain components of him. Like with Sheik, you always know that versus like a given low tier, you can probably just down throw them to put them away at some point. With Falcon, it's the same thing. Like at some point, you can just up throw them or down throw them depending on their weight, and then get rid of them. But with Marth, you actually have to edge guard them. You have to put them through the loops.
I definitely agree. I've noticed that. I felt like it makes Marth a little not harder. Obviously, people don't think he's the hardest character or anything like that. But I think it, from my experience and trying to get better, and from where I saw my improvement as a Marth and other Marths, like it just seems like a huge skill wall for Marth. Like you can go so deep into the character where you could play the character all right at a medium level with just some basic information too. You know, it's one of those characters you can spend a lot of time on if you want to.
Definitely agree. Okay, so let's I'm gonna start the timer and let's play some games.
Okay, cool.
Ready? Oh, stupid 5.7. Alright, let's see. Nice. I'm gonna assume that was supposed to be a up through fair.
What I'm thinking.
I would have just fared there, like.
Greedy,
yeah. Makes sense. That's kind of cute. I probably would have grabbed, but the neutral B was interesting.
It's kind of weird how my future kind of has formed and stuff. I took a lot of time working on first game for a very long time, and then I kind of went back and realized the holes in my play were a lot of neutral, so I kind of come back and had to try some new and interesting things.
fared me after that.
Another, like a short hop double fair, you're saying?
I think you full jump fair that one, but you could probably just short hop fair, and if you miss, then you land really quickly and then do like something else.
Okay.
Like, you see how you're doing these up airs so that even if you miss, you can still like do things afterwards? That's, I think, what you need to be doing.
I see. It's kind of more of an open hop fair, like,
Yeah.
Not fast falling everything or something.
Yeah, the fair doesn't have to hit. Like, the fair is just to, like, keep me from falling on you with attacks. If I double jump, then whatever. If I air dodge, whatever, you come out on top because your action, like, ends, like, way sooner. Grab edge. Gotta be more systematic about edge guarding me.
Yeah, that's Sheik is it's one of those characters, like, I'm trying to think of another character that if I have that player's recovery habits figured out, they don't have a chance. But if it's something where I don't know how, like, because Sheik's recovery is so linear, it should be easy to get every single time. And especially there's only like two places Sheik can really go. It's either on the ledge or right over the ledge. You know what I mean? Yeah,
there's like a very small mix-up, but it's not. You can be very, very formulaic on it and just cover things.
Okay.
So, like,
okay, interesting.
I would cover things with like forward air and down tilt and jab, and just use that to set up stop me from going into certain positions where I could grab the edge, and you can be creative, like, but just make sure you always have the ability to grab the edge.
Okay, so always be in a turnaround, wave dash back on the ledge kind of distance. That very short distance for Marth, it'd be like half a wave dash away.
Here, like, at the beginning of this match, like, we won't do like real fighting, but just like, let's get you near the edge so you can see the positions a little bit more. Like, come here. So you can cover this entire space off stage with like stuff like your back air. You can also down tilt it and forward air. If I get closer, you'll see the visual. Like, around this space, this distance from the edge, you can just hit that spot from the stage with F smash, with down tilt, with jab, with short up forward air, and you can still act out of a lot of those pretty quickly by just like dashing inwards and then wave dashing back towards the edge pretty fast. Like, there's a lot of options.
How many frames are you actually vulnerable for when you make the poof to actually directional fall onto the ledge? Does that make sense?
Oh, like this thing?
No, the poof, that first poof that you showed me at, where you said I can hit you with a forward smash or a forward tilt or something, and it's kind of out there.
So like when I'm coming down from like that after reappearing?
No, it was earlier than that. It was the
like this,
it was kind of like first,
like the first twist. 18 frames.
Okay, so I still have, that's quite a while to react to it.
Yeah, here, try it. Like, I'll just like I'll do it at the peak of my double jump.
Is it you don't see a lot of players doing it. Maybe it's just too risky for it, but can you technically get a dare off that as Marth?
You could. Like,
it's the timing's a little tricky.
It'll be hard on net play, but like
in real life, it might be a little bit more possible. Okay.
The main thing about Sheik's first vulnerability window, like when she's coming up, like this part, is that you don't really cover it on reaction. You just kind of cover it by like doing something efficient that blocks that spot. And if she does it, if she moves into it, then she gets hit. And if she doesn't, it's because she's dropped or moved out of the way of whatever you did. So then you can just grab the edge again or continue the edge guard another way. It's all about just being more efficient than Sheik, though.
With a...
Like, I'd be down tilting or fairing.
Okay.
Yeah, see?
I see. So that'll pop you up, obviously. I want that because that pops you up for a just a follow-up or a tank combo.
Yeah, exactly. Or just pushes me off further, like, and then you see, like, when I go off stage like that, you can just grab the edge if I go away. Like, this is a free edge grab, or back air. I'm dead.
So it's just that linear. What about what do I get stuffed by a lot? I'll get stuffed by. They'll recover. Maybe I just don't. You said you can't really react to it, but I'll try to react to it. And then they'll come up with a nair or a fair from the ledge, and I get punished a lot. Certain players who start punishing me a lot from being very efficient on the ledge will eventually, obviously, if I keep dying, they're going to start condition me to be less confident around that edge spot because I know I'm getting hit with a fair to death every time I push it, right? So it's kind of conditioning in a way, right?
Well, if you're getting killed because Sheik is recovering with an attack, then you either just need to time your attack earlier to stop her from hitting you, or you manage your invincibility better. That's because you have like that's just you not. That can be solved in like either way.
Okay.
Like if I come up with like double jump nair or something, then you just outspace that. Like that, exactly. Or like from the edge, you just use your invincibility. Like you can do all this from the ledge with your back air and forward air. Like if you grab the edge, exactly, see what I mean? And then like if I come up with an attack like this and you're invincible, then you just, you know, you can actually spike me out of that.
Yeah, I've seen a few. It's not very often I see it done, but yeah, I've seen people spike Sheik that way just for style.
Another thing that's worth considering is that like if you throw me off stage and you think I'm gonna come up with an attack, you can just get out of the way and then use your range advantage. Like, you have options.
Okay.
Wanna play?
Yeah, let's continue doing that. Give me a game or two to kind of get into my form too. I literally just woke up as well. So
Okay.
I'm trying to hyperly get into my normal sense of play as if I've been playing.
Okay, well we can. That's fine.
What do you suggest?
To get into form quickly? Just take like.
No, not for that. I'm saying for this section. What are you suggesting now?
I was just gonna say let's play some games, and I'll try to keep the match close to the edge so you can get used to doing these edge guards. If you need like 30 seconds to just move around and warm up, that's fine. But I think that, again, if we're going to practice, if you're gonna improve your flowchart on Sheik and just your flowchart generally, like figuring out how to be more systematic, I'll just steer the match so that it's closer to the edge.
Okay, cool.
So take like 30 seconds, just like move around so you can warm up a bit, and then we'll play. We'll say at 6:45 I'll start like coming at you or camping or something.
Okay, cool.
It'll also give you some time to get used to the lag a bit. If you hit me like and I don't care about being hit for that 13 damage, like it's whatever.
Okay, I'm just kinda...
It's fine. Okay, let's play. If I'm jumping around like this, how do you beat that?
Definitely anti-air.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess the reason why I didn't hit you on the ledge there, that was in bad spacing, right? You
just weren't there fast enough. Like, you had the first forward air, but then you just kind of, like, aborted mission.
I'll have that problem a lot where I can't quite commit because if I commit too hard with it...
Grab edge! Grab edge! Grab edge!
There we go. my train of thought from the last time.
You were saying about like not wanting to commit.
Oh yeah, about not really committing sometimes because the position will put me in, but then I'll end up dead anyway because I didn't commit or dropping the combo pretty much.
Can't be afraid to try to win.
Yeah.
Like, whatever, if you miss, you miss, but like, not doing anything, the whole point of getting advantage is so you can develop plays. Like, exactly. Nice overshoot. I'd be grabbing more. At least against the ground game, yeah. Wouldn't forward smash there, I'd probably forward air, but whatever. Or up tilt. Or up air. Grab edge, grab edge.
It wanted to work, but you did.
Just grab the edge, it's fine. She has to come up. Nice. I would grab. The reason I would grab there is because, like, I'm at such a high percent that it's likely that the thing I'm most afraid of is your sword moves, like forward smashing, being forward tilted, anything like that. So I'm likely to shield. Okay. I'm in the corner, so I can't really like dash back and dodge any of those in a relevant way. So forward feels like really good.
Incentivized as most, I guess, as most characters get higher in percent.
Exactly.
Okay, because I mean, I'm not having to worry about getting crouch canceled and stuff like that if I go for some type of, I don't know, set up like a down throw to forward smash tech, you know?
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Ready?
That's the one thing I'm still not used to from 5.7. Like the fact that it starts so much faster than previous versions.
Yeah, it does feel a little odd. Though when I'm running software or recording software, it normally slows it down to at least the beginning a little bit.
That down air was so ambitious. I don't think that was a really good move out of the way and then forward smash though. Cause you see what I mean? Like if you know that she's coming up with an attack, you just get out of the way and then like counter hit her with your range. Like this is what I mean by being systematic. Like you don't always cover everything, but like you cover what you as much as you can and then like go from there. You sometimes can cover everything.
Let's see. That they're
Yeah?
just because of your percent did it work? Or
I DI'd away.
Oh, I see. Well, that okay, I see.
I DI'd away like mid combo and then you just ended early, so then I got killed for it. That's another thing that you can do to like increase your kill power on characters. Like Marth has a lot of kill setups, but they're just DI dependent. So just having a good mix-up with when you're doing like combos can be really, really powerful. I wouldn't side B there. Certainly not the second time. Like I don't really think it did anything for you. First one was good.
I'm surprised I got who's in there with your up B. Yeah.
Shield breaker. Surprisingly bad versus shield.
Right.
I shy away from that move unless it's like in combo or something, or it's a freebie.
Okay.
I just think that like fair is just so much better.
I got stuff there. I was trying to come run off the ledge and come back at you with a back air. Against certain characters that works well, against others, it's not so well.
I think the problem is it's just that your back air is slower than my moves. So then like I think fair works because you have more control over how you set it up, but wave dashing off with back air, like, it doesn't outrange Sheik that as well as you might think it would. And then on top of that, it's slower than all of her moves, so it's just...
I get caught by players who kind of do that. They kind of fake out a back air, or do this very, it's kind of very early back air. And I'll get hit like that. They'll kind of be falling off of the stage and hit me with it. I have trouble getting past that. When players can do that, it's pretty tricky.
Well, the big thing to remember there is that if you have your jump, you can actually just outrange a lot of back airs with your moves.
Okay.
Like specifically, like here, we can try it here, but like, what you'll notice that like, when I wave dash off with back air, it kind of works in a fixed range.
Okay.
Like I can fast fall it to go lower, but like I can't really go much further out, and it always kind of happens in a certain spot. So you can just like jump back and fair that, or protect yourself, or get out of the way of that. Like if you have your jump, you can actually defend against that in a lot of ways. If you don't have your jump, it's much harder, but...
I see, that makes sense.
You can also sometimes cut through it with like up B. If you're at low percent, it's not bad, because you might trade and then you just up B again. Okay. If you're at low damage, that's pretty good.
How useful is killing with up B versus Sheik? Obviously, when it doesn't work, it's hugely punishable. But is it something to try to look for in that matchup in that particular situation, or is there better options?
I mean, like Sheik, if you have a free up B during your combo and it's guaranteed, and you can just force her to recover on stage after the fact, or she doesn't have her jump, so she's basically dead after she's hit, then it's fantastic. But like, I wouldn't be actively looking for it. It doesn't have the same payoff as it does, say, versus Falco, where it just kills him. It's not quite powerful enough to put her far enough that her up B can't carry her back. So, and it doesn't do quite enough damage to justify it over something like just fairing her more. So, I don't think it's that good, but it's definitely appropriate sometimes.
I see. Interesting. Okay.
Like, you don't really kill Sheik by killing her with a combo. You kill Sheik by just looping an edge guard on her for like a minute, and eventually she just dies.
Okay. At least at the high level. Low level, it seems like you might be able to combo Sheik, but at the very top, it doesn't look that way.
Let me clarify. You still combo Sheik. You just don't combo her into a kill move. Like, you combo her into...
You're not gonna Ken combo her very often.
Yeah, you combo her so that she has to recover onto the stage and do like 80 damage to her or whatever. Or force her to use her up B because she can't reach the stage with air dodging, or you're covering the air dodge because you're like on stage and capable of like shuffling fair and then like grabbing edge if she goes low, like that kind of thing. But like, you don't combo her to death like the way you would versus Fox, where eventually, you know, you up throw tipper him and he explodes. Yeah, exactly. I would probably up air there. I would probably up air there. Yeah. You see what I mean? Like, see, that's a great setup, and the reason that's good is because, like, you messed up the edge grab, but like, it forces me far off stage. So then you just set up your edge guard nice and easy. That's amazing. That's what you want to be doing.
Okay.
But like,
so just chaining it into hitboxes, pretty much. Getting red in the way of her recovery is pretty much what you're saying. Just
yeah. Make Sheik recover. Her recovery is her worst thing. So the more you make her recovery, the less likely she is to win. And then every now and then you can like threaten her with like an auto kill, like spiking or whatever, but most of the time you're gonna kill Sheik by edge guarding her.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's been not my best way of killing her so far, so normally against characters that I can't have reliable kill setups, I go for the tippers, of course, I'll go for like the reed tippers, which obviously against some players that it just opens you up to a whole can of punishment, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
If they know that's the only way, for example, like the Pikachu matchup for me is like absolute miserable. Like I don't think I've ever beaten a Pikachu tournament ever, just because I've never played against one long enough to learn his recovery game to be able to kill him. And you know, I'm sure you know how bad that matchup kind of feels for trying to kill Pikachu.
Oh my god. When you can't kill Pikachu, he just feels like this invincible.
He's like a Falco who doesn't die.
I would have said
all of his moves come out that fast.
I would have said Fox, but yeah, it's the same idea. He just flies across the stage doing neutral airs, and then yeah. I would be grabbing after some of your spaced fairs, like rather than down tilting.
You got grab me there. I don't know how it worked.
I would just F smash there.
Yeah, there I probably should have grabbed ledge. I don't know if I had the time to.
Yeah, you could have.
I definitely saw it there.
So you kind of like messed up your movement and like stumbled near the edge. So you gotta be grabbing the edge here. Because I'm already like so far off stage that you don't need to punish the top. You don't need to punish the top of my recovery. You can just get on the edge and prevent me from grabbing it.
I see.
The covering from the stage with the fair is something you more like do if I'm like kind of close or something, and I can, you know, mix up between grabbing the edge or going on stage. It's more if I have like actual options. But if all I can do is just, you know, up beyond stage, when you grab the edge, then that's a little bit more powerful.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. So you just kind of like cover that spot preemptively, and then you just I die. And you can grab the edge after that, so like it's not even a risk to go for it. Get up attack.
I see. Interesting. Sometimes it works. Obviously, it's DI dependent. Sometimes it works. Sometimes those back airs don't work the way you want them to, and I end up getting punished for even that little bit of landing lag.
It was just a positioning error.
Yeah, more spacing than anything.
Oh, I meant the forward smash. Like the forward smash was correct. It was just you just moved like out of. And as for the back airs, like that was almost perfect. You just needed to be faster on that edge grab. That was a little late. Like, I wouldn't have bothered going for that one, just because I couldn't recover on stage with an air dodge anyway, so at that point it's good for you to just hold the edge. It's kind of like if I'm so close to this stage that I have the option to air dodge, or if I'm so far out that I can't avoid the back air, then the back air is really good. But otherwise, you just kind of like do other stuff, like holding the edge and whatever.
So in a way, try to make a 50-50 guess on her recovery.
Yeah.
You're saying, like, either put a fair in a way that she's going to be DIing. She's either going to be DIing, not DIing, but out there or closer to the stage, where you're grabbing the ledge.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of two modes. Like, she's either going to be covering straight to it, or she's going to use the full double jump the full double boost to get to the ledge.
Yeah, like, here's how I'd visualize it. Like, if I'm out off stage over here, and you can just hit me before I come back, then it makes sense to, like, hit me, because I can reach the stage, but if you can just, like, jump out and stop me, then that's better than holding the edge. But if I'm kind of at this, like, weird middle zone where I can, like, grab the edge, like, snap to the edge with my up B, then you just hold.
Area, okay, that's the area that I feel more uncomfortable about, because that's the area that I feel like will get punished because of that snap grab. They can snap grab, jump on, do a forward tilt or something like that.
But I can't snap grab if you're already holding the edge. That's the important thing. So I just die there.
Let's see.
Or well, what's more likely to happen is I go on stage and then get hit by something. Yeah, exactly. If your stalling is good, then I won't be able to, like, steal the edge from you, so that's another factor. If your stalling's good, then you should have invincibility when I come up. So if I do plan B, which is, like, attack you, then that doesn't do me anything either, because you're invincible. So you just stop.
And I've been doing that a few times. It is going to be better to cover the ledge from the stage, if that makes sense, instead of doing something like the back air back onto that stage, where it's one of those, and then usually I'll try to wave dash away or dash away. Is that back air super unsafe and greedy?
Oh, generally? So like if you're off stage and you could do like back air on and you like attack onto the stage?
No, get on the ledge and then like get up attack.
Okay.
I'm trying to run through you and then back air into you back onto the stage coming from. Does that kind of make sense? It was working better in when we were actually playing. That was kind of it there. Obviously didn't hit you, so I'm guessing.
I think it's just better, like, in general for Marth to hold his position, just because, like, you outrange me. Like, you getting behind me doesn't really do anything. Like, that's so much stronger. And you also keep your front. You also keep your front to me, so you have your down tilt. You have your grab. Like you have your forward smash. You have all these great moves on like quick dial, basically. So I don't know why you'd like give those up. Just to hit me across the stage doesn't really make sense to me.
I kind of look at it as, well, my reasoning behind it before is why I continue to do it. Is it's interesting space. It's an interesting mix-up. Because those are the best options, somebody might choose an option to stop that. But if you're coming, no one's expecting you to come up, run through them, and then come back at them with a back air. Maybe I use it more of like a mind game kind of thing when I shouldn't. It's just not safe most of the time. Or not the optimal thing to do.
Well, you know what, and that's an interesting point, because, like, you're right, those are kind of all the options that you'd expect, but I kind of think that if you're going to take a risk, like, running through somebody, you might as well do something that gives you more bang for your buck. Like, what about down airing them, and then, like, comboing that to up B? Like, that seems like a way more worthwhile, like, investment to me than, like, back airing me across the stage.
I see.
And then at least that has the potential to kill me if I just hold the edge forever. Like, if I just, like, stand here forever, like, if I stand on the edge forever and you run through me and just, like, down air, then I can actually just die.
Okay.
Whereas if you back air, it's like, you're not even hitting that position, probably.
Yeah, and if I use the back air late enough, I can actually hit you with the tip of it and get the full spike, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
I just don't think back air has high impact enough to justify its inclusion in the rotation. Okay. I think that you could definitely mix up with a dash cross up, because that seems to be like what you're getting at. Like, it's not standard, so maybe somebody reacts badly to it, and then you can start threatening by, like, going forward. This will be bad versus people really good at ledge dashing, but whatever. Against those people, you'll have to do more standard options. But against people who aren't, like, this could work.
Yeah, that's where I saw it, because I'm putting my hitbox into you. I don't know. I'm just gonna listen. So I've just got to do something.
Oh, if you mean like recovering from the edge, like if you're on the edge and jumping up with back air to hit me off the stage, that's fine. That's completely fine.
Okay.
I just mean like if you're already on stage and you've wave landed onto stage or something like that, you already have good options for pressuring and hitting Sheik back off the stage in that position. So I wouldn't invest more in getting like a weaker play, a weaker move. That's all. Okay, that makes sense.
You want something high impact. That is your spot as Marth to get a high impact move. That is the time to pretty much you need to for her recovery. That's your time to win the match, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, like you don't kill Sheik by hitting her with the way you kill Sheik is you just make sure you get the hit and then you just cover options, or you hit her or you whack her really hard so she has to recover again. That's it. That's all you gotta do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's not terribly interesting, and I'm probably gonna tell you that a lot, but it's kind of her weakness.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want to do now? Do you want to get into more games, or do you want to go back at and look at some of the footage?
We could do either. Which would you prefer? I'm fine playing games right now. I'm gonna upload this later tonight, so.
Okay, cool. Ready? Go! So let's just do. Do you want to do a game of full real game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do some real games, and if you want to talk about anything, or if you want to watch the videos, you can, but I think that you're getting more... I generally think people get more out of, like, playing and, like, trying the situations themselves than from me just, like, explaining them.
Right. It depends on how you learn and everything.
Yeah. Forward smash was fine. Grab edge! Yeah, you just had to be like way faster on that, but like the stopping the combo where you did was good. Could have maybe gotten one more fair, like whatever, it's not a big deal, but I DI'd away. Fuck. But that's what I mean with like down air. Like if you're gonna go for a risky weird mix up, at least make sure it's one that can kill me. That's like the one exception to the Sheik is won from edge guarding her systematically. Like if you just like DI mix up her and she loses the 50-50, then she can just die.
Okay, cool.
Because I DI'd away expecting you to like continue the combo or down air more, and then you just didn't do it. That's exactly why I don't like that move there. Because if you faired, you could just keep fairing, or like land and then do something. But because you did neutral B, you have to go through all your neutral B landing. You have to go through the entire animation. I would be a little bit more aggressive with taking stage control and keeping control of the middle. You have more range than me, so you having center stage is actually very difficult.
Okay.
Good, grab edge. Yeah, you had the right idea. Because you covered this area perfectly, then you just, when I stay out of the way of it, then you just fall to edge and then I have to recover on stage. So you cover you cover two things at once.
Okay, so just kind of go for that as default. What you're saying is why make it complicated against Sheik's recovery when all you need to do sometimes is that. Like sometimes you're saying you can just get free stops in the way just by grabbing the ledge.
Yeah, exactly.
You can almost get Sheik by getting those sometimes.
I would have fared there because I was in the corner, so I would like start pushing. Grab edge, grab edge, grab edge! Now you see? Now you have... Like, you didn't get the kill, but, like, you were able to keep punish going, which is what matters. Like, you can always just, like, make better decisions on the edge guard, but if you don't set up the edge guard, then it's very hard to improve at making the correct play in it.
Okay.
And that side B did absolutely nothing for you. It didn't outrange anything, it didn't outtime anything, it didn't keep you above, like, an important range or, like, a full jump back air zone. So it just basically was a waste of action. And then I can just react and kill you.
What about if it extends a combo? you'll see like who do I see doing a lot? I'll see like
QPU maybe.
Do some of those weird like side Bs into down airs. Stuff
Yeah,
like
sure. Like in a punish, you can justify damn near anything. But I mean, like that one was mid combo. Okay, that was like actually perfect. You just screwed up like the you just messed up the edge grab itself, but like the setup and everything else was completely flawless.
Okay.
Like the idea was perfect. You just messed up like the fingering, and it might have been lag related. I don't know.
Yeah, that's making it, because of the little bit of lag, it's making me scared to be as sensitive with that weird turnaround kind of pivot to wave dash back onto the ledge. You know what I mean? It's because I'm seeing myself die sometimes, like I did at the end of that last game where I attempted to go for it and I flubbed up the tech skill on the network.
What I sometimes do is I get deliberately close to the edge, like around here, and then I just I killed myself there, but I'll get really close to the edge, like here, stop, and then just like dash dance and then do the edge grab.
Okay, I see.
Because you turn around, so it's like pretty efficient. Because I find dash cancel, it's kind of weird on net play, but like dash cancel into like turn around, wave dash, fast fall, grab is like pretty good.
Okay, cool.
I think that you could be crouch canceling more. Like I think that I'm getting you with some forward tilts that are not totally legitimate, but that's.
You're also not chain grabbing me whatsoever, which is very rare. Most Sheiks are trying to chain grab me. At 0%, they're going until 30 at least.
You haven't really been DIing away though. You've been DIing behind me and above me, which is escapable. So that's part of like why I haven't been doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can just jump those. Like, if you DI above and in front of me, I actually can't re-grab you, and you can just jump it. I don't know exactly what degree it is, but it's like... If the controller's a clock, it would be like around 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Let's see if I can make this come back. Probably not, but we'll find out. That is not a good start. Oh my god, I almost lost.
I love when you can get those that down there into a slide off into the ledge. It feels pretty cool.
That's not a good omen. That was the right idea, actually. Like, because you got up early, if you timed that to get the tipper, I'd just lose the game there. So that's like, that's a risk that's worth going for. You could have probably killed me from the edge, like by covering options, but if I go deep into the stage, it doesn't work. So it's
okay.
I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, eh. See, I wouldn't go for that upbeat. It worked out. I should be dead. Well, not dead, but like that should have been a free forward smash.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Forward smash is not bad. Like for looping an edge guard. See, that's why I hate that move. Whenever you miss, it's such a big commitment.
Can't you? You can just wave dash out of it, kind of the same way, though, can't you? I mean, yeah, you're stuck in a little bit of landing lag, but
no,
for me, I'm stuck in that same position, whether I do a fair or do that move. Because with a fair, then I'm going to have to get out of that same position that would have been. I have to do a full dash to dash back. Does that make sense? Kind of what I'm saying, like it puts me at the same spot at the end of the move. Is it truly just about the lag, the ending lag of the move is why is why it's unfavored?
Yeah, like at fair, when you land, it only requires you to commit, like it only requires you to donate 7 frames to the L cancel before you can move out of it. Whereas in neutral beer here, I'm gonna get the frame data because like I think you have to get, the numbers will make this more digestible. Let me neutral B. Okay. Is it detail? No. Shield breaker. Oh my god, why does Super Doodle Man not have frame data? This is, man, I'm so frustrated.
And it's got fast startup. What, like, because there's just sometimes against some characters and some players that it just works so well. I don't know why. It's just when they're against certain types of spacing, I think for me it just has been, I'm listening to you, but I'm telling you from my experience, from what I've seen at my level, against certain players it works very well because it just gets into that little bit of spacing where they're trying to poke me. And I don't know why, just maybe the length of how long the hitbox is just makes it hard for certain characters to space, and it's not just space, but get an attack in between that huge sword coming down. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, like...
you understand my perspective of it, kind of?
Yeah, no, it's good if the opponent can't air dodge, basically. If the opponent can air dodge, I think it sucks. But if the opponent does not have the ability, or if the opponent can't air dodge through it, then it's really good. But if they can do either of those things, if they can air dodge through it, or just double jump around it, or basically just not interact with it, they almost always come out ahead on it. Whereas with forward air, you can make that move very efficient in terms of in relation to when you land from that move, whereas you can't really do that with Shield Breaker.
I see.
Yeah. And, like, the thing is, forward air forward air does not commit you, because of how quickly it comes out, it doesn't commit you as early in your jump either. So if you decide to change your mind and actually go for up air instead, that's okay. That's something you can do. But Shield Breaker, because of how it takes a little bit longer to start charging, you have to commit to it earlier. So then, on top of it being a higher commitment at the end, it's also a slightly higher commitment at the front too.
Okay.
If the opponent has to recover into it, then it's really good. But in some of the positions you're using it, and some of the positions you've used in have been the case. But like in some of them, it's not the case. And then I just air dodge through, jump around, and I'm fine. I can reset to neutral very safely.
And now you might even have the advantage, pretty much.
Yeah, occasionally I might.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think it's an amazing edge guard tool. Huh? What did you ask?
So are there any other little habits you're kind of seeing in play? I mean, I think I might nair a little bit too much against Sheik.
Yeah, I don't think nair is good versus Sheik.
I've heard that before. I forget who said it, but I remember reading that somewhere. They were like, never nair against Sheik.
I mean,
it's spacing, so if it feels like it's the right move at the time, especially at a high percent, and I can't kill you, I'm going through some arthritis. That's a time, for example, same with a spacey. If I can't kill a spacey by chance, their just recovery ends up being really good, then I'll have to try to use things like that, just different techniques.
I think the big deal breaker for nair with me is that I can outrange it. Like if you nair in that spot, it doesn't hit me. But if I back air here, it comes very close to hitting you, and then I come out on top because my back air does like 14 damage.
Right, and I would have to space that nair very, very well, and in a way get lucky, because those are your back air is like maybe not two of my nairs, but the length of like a nair and a half, it seems like.
Yeah, like I mean. It's possible that they're like very close in range or something, but the deal breaker for me is that I can get under it the same like by dashing, the same way I can versus all your other aerials, and it doesn't really combo that well on Sheik, and it doesn't really completely outrange me the way that your fair does. So I don't see what it does for you. Like, there are cases where the hitbox is like arranged on your body and the solid knockback of the move wind up being very convenient and you need it, but in general I avoid that move. I don't think, like, at least versus her, I just don't see what it really does for you.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Kind of try to eliminate using nairs against Sheik a lot.
The other thing is, like, a lot of times when you're in your when you're doing your poking, like, you'll fair into down tilt and that's fine, but like, I think that you need to fair into, be more willing to fair into grab. Just like, yeah, like fair into grab or fair into more fair. Like, try to combo them together or something. Yeah, like, exactly.
So really just, I'm trying to, like, I've tried this approach, this style, that style of Marth where it's super fair-based, just, and I found that I ended up, that to me, for that exact style, that I get beat by those, the more defensive players more, because they end up crouch canceling, wave dashing out a shield, and then punishing me, or just crouch canceling, grab me from the fairs. I mean, my pair, when I start playing that style, my fairs start to become very obvious because they know that's what I'm going for. So if they know that's what I'm going for, then they can prepare for the fairs.
Well, that's
been my only option with that approach of fighting style as Marth, the very fair-centric and heavy into fairs. Does that make sense?
It does, but what I'd point out is that you don't have to make your entire playstyle based around forward air. The only thing I would say is, when you do use forward air, I think you have to mix up more. But I'd still, like, against a defensive player, I'd still be basing most of what I'm doing around dash dancing.
Okay.
And getting into awkward ranges where they're not sure if you're coming in or not, and then making your plan from that spot rather than just like jumping around. It's just that like sometimes fair will be a component of that strategy, and fair into down tilt really doesn't have much bite, especially if you have a guaranteed grab or a combo coming up after the fair.
Right, if it's at the right percent and everything.
Yeah, or if you're just hitting them out of the air.
Okay. So you're saying you're saying use fairs in a way to get grabs.
Yeah.
Against the characters who are out, let's say out dash dancing you when you can't get the grab, when we can't both just sit here and dash dance. Like I'll run into players a lot like that, especially foxes who are playing super defensive, and they will play where they literally never approach, never do anything risky. The only time they ever do anything is to grab you, to up throw you, to up smash you. Pretty much. It's a very simplistic style, and it works. If they're very good at being defensive in their movement, it works really well against certain players. I noticed against me it'll work very well because eventually it starts adding frustration too, because I'm getting mad that I can't touch them, and they're playing in such a simplistic way that's winning and working, you know?
See, against that type of opponent, I'd break it down into steps. So the first step would be to, like, corner them. And then, while you're cornering them, just make sure that you don't get grazed by things like run forward boost grab. Like, push them into the corner, into this part of the map, but keep an eye out for that distance. So you can react to it with your dash back, or you swat it with your forward air. And then you can also use your dash dancing to avoid that as well. Like, you don't have to be that close. One of the nice things about Marth is he can threaten from a pretty big distance. So that would be, like, kind of too close without you putting out an active hitbox. But if you're, like... And then once they start, like, not doing the rush push because they don't want to get hit by you dash dancing out of the way and grabbing, or you down tilting them, or forward airing them like that, they might start using more like close range defensive tools, or they might start using their projectiles more, like that. Then you can start doing, like, poking them. But you want to break it down into steps. Like, step 1, get them in the corner so they can't really push on you. Step 2, deal with the longest range tools and then work your way in. And work your way in if necessary. If they keep doing this, and then you can just keep dash dance grabbing that, or down tilting that, or fairing that. Like, if they're not going to change, then why should you? But
right, don't stop something if they're gonna keep on doing something that you can punish.
Yeah.
Don't change your punishment up. Just keep on punishing the same way you're saying.
Or get greedier. Like, hell, if they're not going to respect you dash dancing out of the way and grabbing, like, yeah, exactly, hit them harder.
Dash back forward smash.
Yeah.
Okay, so
make them dead.
Yeah, just the quickest way to end the stock. That makes sense.
I might even, like, instead of fairing, you might even be tempted to, like, down air at low percent so you can get the grab after, because down air grab is a true combo, and it's much more DI proof than that dash attack. Like, if you know that they're just standing there waiting for you to miss, you can dash attack into them. It's a great overshoot. And then it also opens up the...
I'm sorry, continue.
I would just say it opens up things like running down tilts, running in with grab, walking forward and forward smashing. Like, that covers a huge area. It's kind of risky, but, like, it's not completely insane. You can even, like, fair, like, this whole area if they start hanging back. Like, that's what I'd be doing against a defensive player with Marth. I'd start... And then you can mix that up. Because your dash back is so good, if you're worried about them, like, recovering onto the stage and then, like, pressuring you, like, say you don't want to deal with ledge dash, you can just run away. And you don't have to run away very far. You can run to this spot, and then that'll be enough to, like, deal with most, like, ledge dash pushes. Like, if you don't want to deal with ledge dash neutral air, you can just run to this area, and then you still have center stage control. You still have the opponent cornered. You're good.
I see, that makes sense. So really, by keeping stage control, even if I'm backing off, it's still
winning.
Advantageous. Okay, I see.
You have more real estate than them, so you can just, if you're ever worried about them, like, doing something to you, you can always just spend a little bit of real estate to deal with it. But they don't have that luxury, because they have, like, this. They have, like, this area.
Right. I know I feel very pressured. I end up rolling and start doing bad options when you get in that kind of corner option, you know what I mean? Players start to make mistakes when they don't have as much room to go.
Exactly. And so put yourself in their shoes. They probably feel the same way, except you have a giant hulking sword as well. So you have things.
Yes. Okay, interesting.
And you've mentioned crouch cancel, but, like, the thing about crouch cancel is not only does it have a shelf life, it doesn't work if they're in the air, and if they're committing to crouching, that means they're grabbable. So that's another reason to be more grab heavy, or, like, be more liberal with your grab.
Okay, so even just the M2K grabs, where he'll literally sit in one spot and, like, grab, and it might be 3 grabs, but he got one of them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And even if they're sitting there and spot dodging in your face or anything, go for more grabs always.
I mean, if the opponent's actively jumping around your grabs and they're investing lots of effort into avoiding grab, then don't go for grab. But, like, if they're investing effort into dealing with your, say, forward air because they're crouching in place and they're holding their ground like that, then, well, what beats that? Grab. You know, like,
right.
Marth doesn't have a singular tool that just overpowers everything the way that, like, Falco does, but what he has in exchange is these really long tools and this really great way of observing his opponent without committing really hard. He uses dash dance. So, you have ways of making up for that weakness of his attacks being kind of weak. Yeah, so that's how I would approach it.
Okay, cool.
If that makes sense.
No, that makes complete sense, because you can't, there's no thing that you can definitely say 100% all the time in Melee do, because it's one of those things, something will always, there's always other options at other times, but I understand the principles you're trying to put by.
Yeah, like Marth, one of Marth's superpowers is his ability to observe people. So you have to be, like, that's something that you really want to be using.
Right, that makes sense. Just staying farther and trying to observe DI habits. That's something I have a hard time against certain players too. I'll recognize DI habits by what combos work, but against players that I can't combo, that are just have got that good of DI, I have a hard time. At that point, I have a hard time to start figuring out how to punish because of the DI. For example, another matchup like Marth Falco or Marth Fox, when they start DIing hard away, always for like grabs at, I don't know, it seems like, because I know it at the 30% mark you can get that up tilt, but I swear there is DI that Fox has and Falco has that they just can go super far and not get hit by an up tilt at 30%. I've had it happen so many times. Unless I mess something up, like
You can actually just re-grab them for that.
And they'll just go halfway across, let's say FD. You know what I'm saying? There's really no good way to punish that, except the only thing I could think was a dash attack, and that's not even that great because they've landed already and they can react at that point.
Well, at 30%, if you're up throwing them, you can actually just keep up throwing them if they DI away. The only reason you up tilt, the only reason you have to up tilt on Fox is if he does that like DI like above your head and then you want to get a regrab, so you do the turnaround up tilt that kind of like locks him in place and then you grab him again. Like that's why you do that up tilt. But if he DIs away from you, you don't have to. You can actually just grab him more.
So just regrab, get a regrab, a JC regrab?
Yeah. Same thing with Falco.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's another problem matchup I have is Falco because it's sad because it's my longest, the biggest matchup that I know total. I know the Falco Marth matchup like the back of my hand from my own perspective because that's what my pretty much my like buddy who trained me in a way who's been playing. Has been playing for years and years and years. He's a really old school player. And Falco has always been his main, and so that's who he kind of taught me with was Falco. So I learned a lot of the difficulties of Marth in the Falco matchup. But there are still issues I still have with that matchup. It seems like.
Well, I don't play Falco unfortunately, but we could play like a couple minutes. We have like about 10 minutes left, so we could play with. I could play with Fox and see what its stats like. But
okay, that's fine too. Whatever you like.
I mean, I want to see what you're talking about, but see, I would just re-grab there. I would re-grab there. Okay, let's try this defensive thing that gives you trouble. Makes sense.
I guess 95% I shouldn't be surprised that killed, but it just seemed a tiny bit early.
I'll use your jump.
Yeah, I lost my jump though. For some reason, I thought I could get a turnaround up tilt from that percent. I don't. Even if I would have spaced it correctly, I don't think I would have enough.
It's gonna be like awkward because this is net play, so like I know things are like not ideal, but yeah, like see that dash dance to get in on my space and then like just pressuring me with your like just kind of like poking. That's good. That's what you want to be doing. That grab probably should have worked. Right idea, just like spacing was wrong.
How should have I? What was so the side B wasn't incorrect.
The side B, well, I meant the forward air. I would have forward smashed instead of jabbing. Back air was the right idea. I think the side B was too close to the ledge, but see, I think you can just cover everything from the stage there.
By kind of getting a fade back fair, you're saying? Or something around that line, like, so just something to put hitboxes, a hitbox out in that area. A better hitbox.
The fade back fair was okay. It's just, I don't think you needed to, like, jump. I think you could have just forward smashed and covered everything, but I mean, the fair wasn't bad. I'm greedy. I'm greedy in general. You have to walk forward a bit for that, at this percent, for that to work.
Okay, that was what I was talking about. You were 37. The up tilt should have worked, but you DI'd hard away, so it didn't. That's
a matter of walking forward here. If you want to see it in action, after this game we can go into training mode and I can just show you it, but
okay, no, we'll do that.
Push. Good. That was, like, your timing was off, but I'm gonna blame net play for that one because it looked like it probably should have worked.
That nair is kind of hard to approach into.
Don't approach into it.
Okay, I see.
You beat nair by, like, avoiding it. Or outranging it, but you can't outrange something when you're moving into it. See, that's, like, so much better. See, the second back here was not needed.
Yeah.
I would be forward throwing more at these super high percents just to get a knockdown. Because, maybe not on net play, but I think the tech chase is actually good. You have to move forward around like around this percent. You have to actually move forward when you're doing your chain grabs.
I see.
It might be a little higher. It's that percent again. The one that we've noted is problematic. See, I don't think you need. I would just be forward airing or forward smashing in some of these ones where I have to go straighten up, just because of the range.
I see.
Yeah.
Here, are you saying in what situation in particular are you saying? You're saying when you're getting when I'm up throwing it.
I'll show you.
What's it called? Okay.
You can move, right? Okay. So, like, when I'm recovering, like, around here, and I have to go up and forward, otherwise I just die, I would just be forward airing or forward smashing. Rather, or jabbing or down tilting, but my problem with jab is that if it misses, you're in a lot of trouble.
I see. But I ended up with, that's one of those 50-50s though, isn't it? Because if they instead just go straight to ledge, then I'm opened up to get punished by forward airing, right?
Forward air is efficient enough that that should not be a problem. Because if it hits me, like, you see how your cooldown is so low? You can just combo that into stuff if you hit me.
I see. So this is where going into down airs and stuff like that goes into.
Yeah, or like down tilt after, like, and even if I grab the edge, like, you should not be punished for going for that play, like for going for forward air. As if you don't do the down tilt after, you should not be punished for going for that forward air. Also, like, if I'm further out like that, I think it's actually easier to hit because I have less wall to ride.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
See, if you just hit me out of the air during this, like, yeah. Now regarding, I just realized I have this backwards, but I really want to get that up tilt thing down. We'll do it. We'll do it. Oh wait, crap. You have. I think you have to go into training mode. Can you go into training mode?
Yeah. Well, give me 1 second. Can you still hear me all right?
Oh wait, you can't. Oh, you can't do the settings because I'm the one who hosted. Crap.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this anyway. I feel like this is important. I'm confident this is important. Okay, so whack me to 30%.
3%?
30%. Okay, perfect. Up throw, and then I'll DI in front of you and just up tilt in place. It will miss. No, okay, that one hit. Try it again. Yeah, see how that one misses? On those ones, you have to walk forward a bit. Like, you have to hold forward and then do the up tilt.
Okay, I see.
If I go
that
behind...
makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah, that's how you get that follow. If I go behind you, this doesn't work, but if I go behind you, you just forward smash.
Okay.
Like, try it. No, forward smash.
Oh, forward tilt, my bad.
Smash. Sorry, the alarm went off, but that's fine. Let me just go off stage. Okay, I need to be at, like... The other thing you can do is you can just dash backwards and, like, grab me if you want to keep the combo going and you don't want to end. That's another way to do it. You can also do, turn around forward air, turn around, like, dash towards me, up air, that kind of stuff. But up tilt eventually just stops working if I go behind you. Eventually, up tilt stops being good if I go in front of you as well, just because of the knockback. At that point, up air and forward air are just more efficient, so they wind up being better. But all right, that doesn't happen until about like 45, 40, around 40, around that area.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. If you want to try so at 30, I'm gonna go behind you. Try to get the regrab on DI behind. Just dash backwards.
Do I need to?
You don't need
just dash backwards?
Yeah, just dash back. And jump cancel grab, obviously. Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. Because you don't want to up tilt because you'll just like lose your combo. You'll lose your combo if I go behind you, but that winds up working to like 50. That winds up working to like 55 or something. I don't know the exact percentages, but it's like higher than if I just go straight above you, because the trajectory sends me more sideways, so I can't jump as high. So your grab just gets me. Like, I come out of stun lower to the ground because of the trajectory I'm set at, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Beyond that, I think that your baseline, your base is okay. It's just, I feel bad because it's like hard to evaluate everything perfectly. Like your idea, it seems that you're getting the idea, like you're picking up some of the concepts okay, but it's something that you'll have to practice offline. Specifically, just being more systematic and being more willing to like play in mid-range. You're not always trying to hit when you have stage and control. You're not always trying to hit the opponent. You are sometimes, but like sometimes it's more about just like keeping them in this little box, so you can just
putting them in a corner. You're saying?
Yeah, like keep them here, and then just be ready to deal with like stuff like this, like the stuff that they'll do coming out. And the only other thing is, I think you sometimes think that, like sometimes you can tell what's going on. Like when you pointed out, it's hard to outrange Fox's Nair or beat Fox's Nair when you're moving towards you, and then I just told you like move back then. Like it is hard to beat some approach tools when you're moving forward, but that's kind of like what one of the advantages of having stage control is. You don't have to beat them by moving forward. You can just spend a little bit of space, like this much, and then you can beat their, like you can spend this much space, and then if they push, you just win.
I see. Yeah. What about the opponents who purposely like overshoot and stuff like that
Then-
for that same reason.
That's when you attack early. That's the mix-up.
Okay, I see.
So like if I try to overshoot, like if hold still for a second. So let's I feel like this works with a visual. Let me slow down speed for a second. So if I'm doing standard attack spacing, I start my attack from like around here, right? Around like this spot. But if I'm trying to catch your dash back, I'm aiming for like here. So I'm trying to so I'm starting my attack like deeper into your space. So what you do to beat that is, understanding that I'm like not actually doing anything until like here, you just attack me. You grab or whatever. Like you just grab me as I'm like running through you.
I see.
Like if I'm overshooting dash attack. Exactly. Like
So
sometimes
just meet you with a grab halfway, if that makes sense.
Or something else. Like you don't. It doesn't have to be grab. Sometimes forward smash can be good. Forward tilt can be good. Down tilt can be good. Lots of things can be good because I'm not coming forward with like an attack. I'm coming forward and then attacking later. This is also how you deal with like running shine, by the way. Like if you're worried about running shine, huh?
You can grab running shine. Isn't that the hitboxes and the speed of what shine comes out superior to grab though?
Yes, but
grab has better range. But
exactly.
Doesn't it beat it speed wise?
That's my point though. Like here, turn around so you're facing me. Your grab hits me from like here.
Right.
Grab. Just so we can confirm that. Grab. See? For my shine to hit you, I have to be like here. So during that, when I get to this spot, I have to cross this entire area to hit you with that shine. That's where you grab me. You're almost like max ranging the grab.
I see. So against spacies that love to just run up and shine me.
Anyone who's trying to overshoot.
Oh, okay.
Because the whole point of running shine is that it's an overshoot. It's a flexible overshoot, but that's mainly what it's used for. Like, the thing that's good about it is that if you're dash dancing like that, like if you're doing that standard dash dance, I can just do this.
Yeah, it almost works kind of like a dash attack for Fox in a way, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's like
dash
a better dash attack.
Exactly. Dash attack is such a common overshoot with so many characters. That's the point of this.
Oh, I see. That makes a lot of sense.
It's because it's a dash cancel.
And then because of just the poke, they can set up very, really evil stuff off that too. It seems like because they can get from just that, you could fall off the stage, and then they can go and
just do this.
just continue to combo from there.
Exactly. So that's why you have to attack. That's why you sometimes just attack early, like in your movement, and you don't just outspace things. But that's like, but again, you still have the advantage because if they hold still, you can push on them, and they have fewer places where they can go. So that's the advantage of stage control. Now this kind of gets more complicated when people can ledge dash perfectly, because then you have to be ready to like just back up and give them and respect them at like a moment's notice. So against like something like this, you'd probably just dash back once or do like one wave dash back or something and see what they do. But again, it doesn't change the system too drastically. It just means that you can't swing in their face as much. That's all. That's the only thing it means. Exactly.
That makes sense. Okay, so that's something that's tricky too, trying to figure out and adapt to the type of players that you can play that very swing heavy Marth and just put out hitboxes and combo them, and against the players that you can't do that and that you really have to be a lot more deliberate and just swinging your sword. That seems to be my main problem is I'll get into a match with somebody, and when my style doesn't work, it's just like counter pretty much against a certain type of player, it seems like.
But Marth has a way of dealing with that built into his design, and that's his dash dancing, because it gives you the ability to observe people. It's not foolproof, but it lets you take a look at how they want to. There's a reason why every single good Marth player, even though they all have their own unique twist on the character and their own like little you know, tweaks and spins, they're all good at dash dancing. And that is because no matter who you are with Marth, you still have to be able to observe your opponent, because he has to ultimately win interactions by picking the right move. He can't just down air people like Falco and then win an interaction, you know, if it's like 5 different defensive options. He doesn't have something like that.
Right. His neutral's a little bit more complicated than it's maybe not complicated, but a little bit more.
It's honest.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
And dash dancing is.
So what about when you're just purposely trying to take stage from me when I'm dash dancing? That's the problem. Is I'll get hit in my dash dance. So overshoot something because I can dash dance like this, and this is even incorrect dash dancing right here. I'm flubbing a little bit, but it's not too short, right? But you can still run in with a nair and hit me very easily. And now because I was dash dancing and I'm now inputting out, I get shined and shine spiked a lot because of it seems like I will be dash dancing and I'm inputting right to dash dance right or left, and I end up getting shine spiked off the side because I DI'd. I get poked and then I get DI'd, I get poked, shine, and then my DI is inputting a frame of away, and then I end up dead. Does that make sense? That happens to me a lot too.
In those cases, if you think somebody is trying to set up like an approach on you, then again, like, what do you think would work? What do you think would work? If you have time to challenge them as they're coming forward with grab, that can be effective. If you have time to wave dash back and then set up like, or get into position for forward airs by like turning around in your dash dance and, you know, jumping, that can also work. You can run through the nair, like you can actually run underneath this. Marth is low enough to the ground that you can actually run under that.
Should I try to hit the kind of like the same way I would do like a running down? So should I try to actually physically dash under it when I get close to it? Is that relevant, or will my dash dance animation do that for me?
You have to be running forward. You have to be dashing forward, like actually just like dashing, because if you change direction midway, then you'll start standing. So then,
okay.
like you see how like there's that frame where you're standing up. That's why you have to just like commit to dashing under it if you try to do that. You can't like change your mind as, you know, you're going under it or anything like that. I don't know.
No, that makes complete sense. So, okay. I mean, that's just something I'm gonna have to work on in certain, especially very, very fast foxes. That can be a problem just because they're so fast. I don't have time to react. It's that fast. It's fox, so they're dash dancing right here. They run and shine you, and the combo starts and they open you up and you die.
And remember, like, if they're running forward and shining, there's this entire period, like, all the way till they reach you, where they're not doing anything. So don't be afraid to just grab them. Your grab is way more painful to him than his shine is to you. At least at the highest levels. Like, Marth's damage output is just higher per hit. So you lose less by representing moves like grab in your, like raw grab. You lose less by representing things like raw grab in your combat rotation than he does. So it's not a terrible risk. And it's okay going for. And also, like, if he's going for nairs, you can beat that by just like crouch canceling, good shield positioning. Those are also very good, like, reasonable ways of beating it. You're not just limited to dash dancing. If anything, dash dancing is good because you can set up all those things from it. Like, you can shield during it.
Right. I understand that because you're back in neutral. That's kind of some basic stuff, like why dash dancing is good, why JC grabbing is good. Kind of like it keeps you at that. It keeps your character in the least laggiest state so you can react to something after, right?
Yeah, like you can act at any frame during your dash. The same is not true for things like wave dashing. Which is why wave dashing characters tend to be less good than dash dancing characters, like in general.
Interesting. Now that you're saying it, it makes sense, but I never actually thought about that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like why Luigi, even though he's super fast, he's not that... His movement is still kind of restrictive because every time he does something, there's that 10 frames in front of it where he can't actually do anything.
Okay, cool.
Whereas with Marth, you know...
Actually,
Exactly, like, if you want to do something, like, here, dash forward and grab on the first frame of your dash. Like, you can do that. Luigi cannot do that.
I see.
Ice climbers can't even do that.
Oh, wow, they can't? So Marth can do that? Who else can do that? Fox can do that, can't he?
Well, I mean, like, they literally can out of their dash dance. Like, if they dash, jump, cancel, grab, they literally can. But what I mean is, out of their main movement technique, their wave dash, they can't do that. Because they have to commit to, like, this wave dash, right? Which is, like...
Right.
But because dash dancing is flexible, you can change your mind during it. That's why it's good. Like, you can just be...
Okay.
You can be like, dash, and then pivot grab. Dash, then nair. Dash, dash, then full jump. I get that's not something Marth really does, but, like, I don't know. Maybe there's a situation where you want to do that. You can dash and then wave dash. Like, you have all these things you can do. Dash,
kind
then
of the fluidity of Marth.
Huh?
Kind of just the fluidity of Marth and staying moving and being able to react and act out of all of his, out of his moves and everything like that. That just kind of goes more to. You think it's something that could be helped with oh, what's the name of it? That the color overlays. With the wait times and everything like that, I guess I could practice with that some more in single player.
Yeah, if you're finding that speed,
like that.
If you're finding speed and fluidity is something that's giving you trouble, absolutely, I would incorporate that into your practice.
For me though, it's the consistency of it. It's because any day I could be playing completely terrible, or I could be playing at. It depends. It just depends on what level, how I'm playing that day, and how speedy I can actually play that day. Like it really is. I'm either on or off that day, sadly. And if that, I wished it worked that easily.
I think that's more of a reflection of just picking routes that are more consistent. Because I think the one thing about your play that I did notice, and it was getting better as we were playing, but. You're good when it's like a free flow type interaction, but when it's something that's just solved by you being very systematic, you seem to have problems, and a lot of times it looks like you don't understand how to get a particular play. Like, for example, that just knowing to walk forward during up throw up tilt on Fox at like 35 plus.
You're right. I've never actually thought about it like that. Like when it is a free flow kind of thing, I can do it, but when it gets into these very tense situations where it's very heavily based on like a DI decision or a 50-50, that is where I
or a flowchart.
Don't like to pull. Yeah, exactly. Where I don't like to pull the trigger because it's of how hard, I don't know, just how hard I've been conditioned by certain players to not do certain things.
Sometimes you just gotta throw somebody through the flowchart. Like, I wish it sounds simple, and it's gonna be hard. It's hard to pick up because it's simple. Like, there's no cheat for it. You just have to be confident in your. You have to be confident in the setups and sequencing that you're going for. And you have to make sure you know them like inside and out. But if you can do that, then you can just. You don't have to set it. It makes you faster and makes you more consistent because you're not second guessing what you're going for. You just do it.
Right. You just kind of go for it, and you judge off of it if it worked or not.
Exactly.
Okay. For flowchart, I did. Huh?
For flowchart.
For flowchart, you can't play Marth on a. I'm trying to think on a. Like. I'm trying to think the best way to describe this. Like. You know, you've seen Mango's Marth, for example.
Mm-hmm.
He has got like a very odd type of Marth, and he does not do. He uses down airs and up airs in very weird, creative ways. He's a lot different than some of the other mainstream Marths, and he seems very non-flowcharty in a way, to me, compared to someone like PP or QQU or something like that. Does that make sense? He seems. Can you play Marth at high level in that way, or do you have to be a flowchart Marth? Like, is that a higher end Marth? Is flowchart Marth? Is that really the only? You can't play it by feel.
What I would say about that is that there are a lot of creative elements in Mango's gameplay, and they mainly come from the fact that he's very good at understanding how people respond to pressure. That's what gives him his Marth its like feel. But if you look at like, even if you just look at this video, I'm gonna just send you this. You can still see him. Like it's just a top 20 video, but you can still see him like, you know, like the way he does in his first combo on Chillin', like, or no, it's on Leffen actually. When he gets his up airs, like you see how he's doing them low to the ground and then comboing into up tilt. That is standard Marth. Forward smashing because Fox is in the corner. That is standard Marth. Jumping off stage to cover the high recoveries. The positioning is standard Marth. He just does a spike with it, which is the cool creative part. But the set, like Mewtwo King would have fared that. But the setup itself, the way he establishes his footing, the way he positions himself to be able to cover options, that's all standard Marth. That's all flowchart. It's just what he does with the flowchart that's unique. But all of it, how he establishes exactly. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, it's what he's doing with the flowchart. He's still using a flowchart. Like that's
exactly.
It's just more punishment. It's the same as Sheik in a way, right? It's very flowchart, and that you learn that flowchart, and then you'll always have that punish game in a way.
Yeah, like if even like I think it's the third combo on SFAT. Like,
well, actually, give me the name of the set because I'm using Discord through my phone. What's the name of the set in the tournament?
It looks like it's you'll probably have to watch this on your computer or something at some point, because
yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Just keep the highlight video, but this looks like it was on his stream, but he's playing against SFAT, and like the way he's tech chasing, the way he's setting up his sequencing, like a lot of that is very standard. It's just that he goes for more DI 50-50s like once he's got the standard combo going, but the basics are still there.
Okay.
It's
yeah,
not,
that makes sense.
It's not super wild. It's like he does all the stuff that's guaranteed, and then he goes crazy.
Okay, interesting. So yeah, you're right. He'll get the fair that he needs to get the tipper fair, and then he'll go into the crazy. Then he'll go like down air, up air, down air, forward air, up B. You know, like just something nutty.
And between us, I think that some of his crazy creative plays are actually mistakes, but he's just like he catches on to the fact that
Mango.
Yeah, he catches on to the fact that he's made a mistake right away, and then he corrects it.
Oh, interesting. I see. That's why it looks so. Why his Marth looks so wonky? Like it looks like what is he even thinking right now?
And all of his characters do that. Like he'll do something that's just wrong because he's messed up like very slightly. And then he's just like, well, whatever, what can I do with this?
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll get it once I'm afraid about if I log on to Discord and on my computer, it will log me off the call. So I'll check out that a little as soon as we get done.
Yeah. I think that I'm actually going to have to sign off now because we've gone about an hour and a half. But
no, that's completely fine.
Yeah. I'll upload the video tonight, and it'll just be on the Melee Coaching YouTube page. It's very easy to find.
Okay.
Beyond that, the main thing I think though is just experiment. No, if you're worried about fluidity, practicing with overlays helps. But I really think the bigger thing is just figuring out where you can be more systematic. And as stupid as it sounds, I actually think just watching combo videos of and seeing how they cover options and what like the commonalities are, it's not actually that bad. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've been doing that and been trying to. I finally have got a good enough router that I can actually play net play without lag against somebody who's in my region.
Okay.
I used to have problems with my old router. I couldn't do it, so I've actually been starting to try to push on Smash ladders. My goal right now is between silver and gold within the next month or so.
Nice. Good luck.
And just keep on trying to push with that. I've been having issues against players that I don't have in my region. Like I don't have a lot of ice climbers at least in the group that I play with a lot. In Charlotte, I live close to Charlotte, so I play with a lot of the Charlotte kids, and there's obviously a lot of good guys up there. I go and play up there sometimes. It just depends on how confident I'm feeling about Melee, because I'm the type of player that I don't see a reason. I came from competitive Magic the Gathering.
Oh, okay.
So unless I feel like I have a chance at winning the tournament, I don't see a reason at playing the tournament. I can get all the practice I want on net play and through locals and the local weeklies and stuff like that than going to some of the big tournaments. Because if I'm just paying money to lose, because I know I'm not gonna. I know it, like, maybe that's a bad mindset to have, but it's kind of realistic. I know I'm not gonna go there and beat. For example, what was the closest one recently? Bad Moon Rising for me. Like, I know I'm not going to go and beat Fluff and those guys up there. So in a way, I'm paying money to get some of that experience. But who even says that I'm going to get far enough in pools to even get experience against good players, and it's not just me making mistakes to getting eliminated? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
what do you think about that? Like, do you think that is a bad mindset? Because that's something I've struggled with for a long. Well, I still struggle with a lot. Is not even John's, just like, I don't know, just really immature, just calling shit gay, just like looking at certain play styles that players have and look at it, it's just so non-committal that it's just so cheesy and grimy, and I hate looking at it like that. But against certain play styles, like, I can't help but look at it that way. You know, does that make sense? Like, it's something I've been playing for about 3 years now, and it's just hard to get past, you know?
Well, my question would be, how did you deal with that with Magic? Like, you probably
Magic is. I'm sorry, continue.
Well, what I would say is, like, because I came from card games too, so the way I always looked at things that I didn't like, once I got past the fact that I didn't like them, at least, I'd always just be like, even though this is really powerful, they're still giving up something by doing it.
Okay.
So, like, you know how...
My main difference...
Mm-hmm.
My main difference was that Magic is variance-based. Besides the rock, paper, scissors, and Melee,
mm-hmm.
it's all skill. That's the reason why I quit Magic, competitively at least, because I got tired of any type of variance determining who was the winner. I wanted the best player to win 100% of the time, and that is generally fighting games and Melee.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah. But
I think it is a big difference, and that's why it's so frustrating. Is that a player like in Magic, you can just you hate a deck, you can just sideboard in you can sideboard in fucking 7 cards to that matchup and just try to win through just hitting out the deck. I don't have a sideboard for Marth. I can't say, oh, well, I need something for the Fox matchup, so I'm gonna put on some armor that says I can't be Shine Spike, you know? You kind of see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I can. Like, in Magic, you can always just tailor what you're doing for the match you're playing against. Whereas with Melee, if assuming that you're staying the character that assuming you're sticking to your character, everything is already preset. There's no customization after the fact. Right.
And I do love that part about Melee too. I love that there's never going to be a patch for it. I love that all this work I've put in for years isn't going to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. Like, that's something that was a big part of Melee too, because I was like, when I was looking at fighters, I was like, oh, I could play Street Fighter and then have my game change on me every 1.5 to 2 years, or I could stick to. I was one of the dot kids, obviously, starting 3 or 4 years ago. So watching that and just seeing that the game isn't ever changing. So if I'm still having problems with certain play styles after 3 years, I mean, it's not like you would expect to be the best player in the world after that time, but you would expect to be able to deal with, at least understand and deal with all play styles. Even if somebody is better than you, you should be able to recognize and at least know how to beat all play styles. And I just feel like that's something that's lacking in me, and especially as time has gone on. Now it's been a couple years, and it's really, the tech skill isn't the issue which I love to blame for the longest time. I was like, oh, well, my tech skill sucks, and that's why I'm dying. It was like a self-John kind of. Now, the tech skill really isn't even bad. It's just like these little mistakes. Lots of little mistakes, you know?
Mm.
And things fundamentally that I'm doing wrong and that I fundamentally learned wrong from the beginning.
The way I rationalize things that like I don't like in the game or that I don't have trouble dealing with is I always just try to break them down into their components and look at what the play is doing for my opponent and what the play is not doing for my opponent. So if somebody's playing Runaway, they're not taking stage control, so that's something I can take advantage of. I can corner them. I can push on them. If somebody's playing Rushdown, you know, they have a lot of initiative. They're probably starting their moves quicker than me, so they're playing faster than me. But
Right.
the disadvantage to that is, you know, they're taking risks by entering my space with whatever they're entering my space with. So those are punishable. So it's really just a matter of... That's how I always look at it. I don't know if that'll work for you, but that's how I cope with it, I guess.
That makes sense, all except for one character, Falco. Their Falco Rushdown characters are... You can't, as a Marth, I can't do anything but play their game. I can't slow down the game against a Falco. It's just they I'm trying to think the best way to describe it.
They're always dictating the pace and how the game is played.
Exactly, and sometimes they will be so scared of neutral that they will spam lasers to avoid any type of real neutral. It seems like, because they don't want to get grabbed. Obviously, they're scared to death of the Marth grab. But it's like, to me, it seems like so. I don't know. It's like we're all doing the best we can to win, but like it's so cowardice in a way. Like it's like just shooting lasers until they get that perfect opening, and finally, eventually, can get a pillar combo or any type of punish off of it. You know what I mean? I have a really hard time with that. For some reason, that certain Falcos just like, it's this auto spam Falco that I haven't been able to figure out yet. And I know at high level players don't deal with that type of auto. I mean, West Balls might be an exception, but that type of auto spam Falco. You kind of see what I'm saying?
Well, I think part of it is that Falco, he's one of the... I always feel like Falco tapers off in terms of how powerful he is as you get to the highest levels. And the reason for that
that's what I
is...
was saying.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason for that is just, even though his tools are very oppressive and very strong, a lot of them have holes in them. Like opportunities where you can, say, buffer roll, or where you can buffer jump, or where you can wave dash out of shield, or where you can act in between the lasers. And that winds up, and then given that coupled with his fragility and his lack of range outside of his laser, really, and back air, kind of, it eventually that winds up being very dangerous for him, and he winds up having to. And once you get used to smash DIing and DIing his combos, his damage output tapers off and doesn't really get much better. And his ability to pressure you and smother you to death also takes a big hit. So this is another spot where you learning to be more systematic can actually be really, really advantageous. Except it's not being systematic on offense, it's being systematic on defense. Realizing that you don't need many hits to beat a Falco. You only need the ones that count. You need, like, in a perfect world, you only hit Falco like 4 times in a match to win. And that is a big...
Right, the perfect punish game.
Yeah. Which means you don't have to interact with him that often if you really don't want to. Because, like, you can chase him with your kill moves and threaten him, and that's all fine and good. But, you know, you can... If you back off, you don't need much to get back in there and kill him. You need, like, one move. You need one read. So observing him is actually worth quite a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. So the super aggressive style, where it's dares, shines, and lasers, like just run away. You're saying don't let them play that way. Don't let them like play cheaper than lasers. In a way, you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, like, think about it. Falco, his character, he's not quite fast enough to be able to play rushdown the entire game, and he's not quite durable enough to be able to play runaway. So he has to kind of walk this middle line because a lot of like the hyper aggressive Falco styles like King Momo, they kind of die at top level, especially against things like Sheik and Marth, just because they don't do enough damage to just, you know, to play a if I hit you 4 times I win type thing, because he doesn't have that power against Sheik and Marth. But Sheik and Marth do have that power against him. So, you know, he's coming in, he's trying to smother them and kill them and pressure them, and then you just get out of the way of him and get one counter hit and he loses a stock.
Yeah. That's easier said than done sometimes. I mean, that's the problem. In a perfect world, yes, you do kill Falco off of one hit, but in the perfect Falco world too, you get a kill off of one hit too, correct? I mean,
because there's more concrete limitations in what Falco does to people than what people do to Falco. Just because there reaches a point where his shine and his up tilt don't lead to additional knockdowns or launchers. They lead to like one back air. So that's it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Around like his first combo is probably going to put you at like 40 to 60. There's nothing you can do about that.
You get shined a couple times and dared a couple times, and you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, like without smash DIing away from the down airs to avoid the shine follow up, and he can still do things after the fact, like down tilt, but like that first combo is going to probably do about 40 damage. But after that, he doesn't really have, unless he specifically gets the down air knockdown on the platform, he doesn't really have great things after that. So he has like one really good opener, and then everything after that is not that good. Assuming you're smash DIing away from down airs, assuming you're holding down and away on the shines, etc., etc.
What is the best approach to do when you're on a stage that, well, we'll say for example one FD which doesn't have platforms, and all he's doing is standing across the stage shooting lasers at you. You can double jump.
Mm-hmm.
You can be getting hit by the lasers, trying to wave dash in and out of shield, which is extremely readable, and eventually by the time you get to him, he's gonna be able to move and do all that. Or you've got your double jumping up and down, and that just kind of resets the situation.
Don't worry so much about hitting him. That's the biggest advice I can give you in that position is don't worry so much about hitting him.
Okay.
The first step to dealing with that is to get into a position where he can't safely laser anymore. If you get into that spot, like if we treat Falco's dashing short hop, like approaching short hop down air as a unit of space, it's about, you want to be like 2/3 that distance away from him. So if he way you're close enough that if he short up lasers, he's taking a big gamble because you can just whack him and hurt him. And if he approaching aerials you or tries to set up shop in your face with his actual attacks, you can either outrange them or move around them using your dash dance. So you have counterplay to all the things he's doing. But if you try to beat his lasers and deal with his approach, or beat his lasers and deal with his walling at the same time, like if you try to combine those two steps, you're going to run into trouble, because as you're jumping around to the laser or wave dashing around the laser, you're committing your movement into a specific trajectory. So what you're right. Yeah. So you kind of treat it like a two-step process. Step 1, you disrupt his lasers and get into a spot where you can threaten the next action. Step 2, you deal with the next action, but you don't mix the steps. Not very often, anyway. Sometimes you do. Like, occasionally you'll just dash attack him from, like, I don't know, one dash attack distance away, just because if you get it, he loses. But most of the time, you treat it like a two-step process.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I see. That's a really good way of explaining it. I've never thought about that. So it's getting in that position where, because he's got the perfect laser position too, where he wants you in it outside of fair range and outside of grab range, but right outside of that range. And you want the range that is just close enough that you can get grabbed, but he can't safely laser.
Yes. And I wouldn't even use
see what you're saying now.
even use grab necessarily as the move that you're basing your spacing around. I might even base it around like I might base it around your forward air. I'd probably base it around your forward air actually.
Okay, that makes sense. So I do kind of want to be close. I want to be closer to Falco than he wants to be to me.
Yeah.
Fundamentally. Okay.
You just want him to be, like, you can even be a little bit further away from that, but the point is you want to be in a spot, and you can fiddle around with the exact distance, but the point is, if you get into that position safely, if you get past the lasers and get into that spot where he cannot laser on the follow-up safely, then he has to commit to something. And even if you only win half those interactions, assuming you're both DIing and punishing correctly, you will win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say before we go? It's been a little bit, so I figured you need to get going by now. What was a set I watched recently? It was a set of yours at Eden. I think it was with the moon.
Hmm.
And I was wondering what things in particular the moon did in that matchup that was very. I think he ended up winning the set. And what did he do in particular that really standed out to you as like correct play, if that makes sense? Not obviously it was all correct if he won the matchup. Let me see if I can find the video real quick.
Oh, I remember that, Matt. I remember that set. So you don't actually need to get me the video.
Okay.
The biggest thing that he did effectively was he kept me in the corner, and when I tried to wrestle my way out of the corner by or pressure him, like whenever he was in the corner, I would go for things like fair into jab or fair into forward tilt to keep him pressured there. And when he was in the corner, when he had me in the corner, he would be a lot less committal. He would use his down tilt to push me off stage because that's how you kill Sheik. He would forward air and dash away. He played a very low commitment pressure style that worked really well for him against what I was doing, because I was trying to like wrestle with him, but he wanted nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
And then when I was trying to pressure him and kind of like keep a lid on him, he had very good. He understood that was what I was trying to do and would block. And he would use his defenses very effectively.
He had good edge guarding tools. It's looking like in it. The third stock, he kills you with an up tilt, which is it seems pretty hard to do. I don't kill a lot of Sheiks with an up tilt, you know what I mean? It's something that was just good time, good, maybe bad DI or something like that.
Well,
but that seems something that...
Well, there is a soured spot hit on up tilt that hits sideways, and then on top of that, the vertical hit, up tilt doesn't have crazy vertical killing power, but if the opponent's at 150, it's a vertical kill. Like, why not?
Yeah, I like it against some of the floaties like Teach and Puff and stuff.
Yeah, but it works. What I'm getting at is it's good versus Sheik too, because I mean, if Sheik is at 130, 140, like, why not, right?
Right. It was just interesting that he went for the up tilt instead of a forward smash. I saw one of the sets. What is it? The one on Battlefield. He gets an up B kill as well, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, no, that was really good by him, because I'd been going for like aerial into forward tilt, aerial into really aerial into forward tilt. Like the big thing about me was I was way too predictable with my shield pressure that set. So he started taking more liberties to get like some kills on predictions, and in general he didn't bite. Like, I kept expecting him to move out of shield after the forward air, but he didn't. So I think that his defense was just much better than my offense that set.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't even. Looking at the set, it's not even that you flub or the game. It's not even that you were flubbing. What's it called? You just weren't getting a chance to ever get in. You weren't flubbing the punish game. You just never got in a lot. It seemed like.
Yeah, like he probably hit me in like a 3-to-1 or like 2.5 to 1 ratio or something like that.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah, that was the bigger issue.
And then the what's it called games? The Yoshi Store games were both really good.
Yoshi Story game, I think I missed every single DI out of his, I forgot that, friggin' back throw sets up, Tipper if I don't DI it correctly, so he got me with a lot of those. And then I just got exploded. I got completely just, I got bodied. So he had like he had some like good mix-up. He had some good mix-ups, and he definitely preyed on like my lack of knowledge in some spots, and I mean that happens.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I just wanted to. I didn't want to highlight the loss or anything. I was just. It was something I watched recently. And I thought it was interesting too. Something that because I wouldn't have assumed. I'd never had seen this matchup before, so. But I watched it yesterday. I wasn't sure what to expect at the end.
Honestly, like the loss is whatever. I've lost to so many people in my years of playing this game, so it's all good.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Anyway, is there anything else that you really want to go over quickly, or because I really do have to go?
No, it's fine, man. We've taken so much time. I'll be getting back to you within I'd say a couple weeks or so.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be getting back from you, so you'll hear from me again really soon. I'll let you know how everything's went.
Nice.
Hopefully, I've made that goal of on Smash Ladder and got up a little higher on the rankings. So I'll let you know what issues I'm facing at that time. All right.
Sounds good. You have yourself a great evening. Pardon?
Oh yeah, you too, man.
All right, later, man.
You too. Good talk, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, have a good night.